Hi guys, I'm Dr. Joe Brown, and today I want to talk to you about plastics. So, plastics, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, because a lot of my patients never even thought about it. On the bottom of every plastic container that is made, if you turn the bottle or the package upside down and look on the bottom of it, there is a triangle and there's a number inside of it. And the numbers go from 1 to 7. Now, let me explain to you why this is vital to you not getting cancer or any other health problems. The numbers 1 through 7, every one of those numbers references what types of chemicals are in that particular plastic molding that they're making your jug or your plastic bag or your plastic sandwich baggie out of, and what leaches into your foods or drinks from these. Now, the numbers, and let's start with the most crucial or problem numbers. They are in this order: number 7, number 3, and number 6. Again, that's number 7, number 3, and number 6. The other numbers that tend to be a little bit better are going to be 1, 2, 4, and 5. And I say they are a little bit better. The safer numbers are numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now, why am I even doing this video, and why do I want you to realize how important this is? And why specifically do I want you to turn all of your packaging around, your water bottle, your Coca-Cola bottle, your deli meat that you bought at the grocery store, turn it upside down and look at the number. Because 95% of all plastic that was tested to give you estrogenic activity, or to change the estrogenic activity within your body. What does that mean? It means that when you are drinking and or eating products out of these plastic containers, 95% of the chemicals are leaching into the foods, which is altering the hormone or hormones in you, which leads to genetic problems and cancer. And if you look back 15, 20, 25 years ago, the cancer rates, let's just talk about cancer for a second. The cancer rates were, I don't want to say nil or none, but they were, if you're looking at a graph, they're on one side of the graph. You fast forward 15, 20 years later, the graph goes like this. I mean, it's a steep line. It's worse than the stock market dropping in the last couple of weeks. Okay? So what I want you guys to do is look at the numbers below, because these plastic chemicals are leaching into your foods, which are getting into your body, which are altering your hormones, and toxicity to your liver is off the charts. And if you do this day after day after day, it builds up. And it's not, are you going to have a problem? It's when, because you will. Now let me go through some of these numbers for a second. Just briefly, I want to point out what the chemical is that's in the different numbers, what the makeup of it is. And I'm not going to list all of the packaging, but I want to give you just some of the most common packaging that fits under each one of these numbers. So and I'm just going to go 1 through 7 at this point, okay? Number 1, this is known as polyethylene terephthalate, okay? Also known as PET. And so what I did was I wrote down just some quick bullet points of the packaging that's used in these. So your soft drinks, your water bottle containers, your juice containers, sports drinks, ketchup, or different sauce containers, they have a number 1 designated on the bottom of them, or at least most of them do. Number 2, known as HDPE, also called high-density polyethylene. This is going to be on your milk containers, again, your water containers, juice containers, shampoo, conditioner containers, lotion containers, Okay, so everything you've been eating and drinking fit into number 1 and number 2 so far. Number 3, PVC. We've all heard of PVC, especially if you're a man and you've been to Home Depot. PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Okay, now number 3, if you remember, is one of the worst for you. This makes up your bags, shrink wrap. So when you're getting your television or you're getting that new product that you bought from one of the stores and they're shrink wrapping some plastic around it, that is made from number 3. And so that PVC chemical that you're touching is being exposed to you and is going into your skin. So try not to touch it as much as you don't need to, and or wear gloves, okay? This also has to do with, and this one surprised me a little bit, deli meats. Now, when you go to the grocery store or the retail store and you're buying your ham or your chicken or your whatever slices of meat in those packages, that plastic harder container is made out of number 3, PVC. So that meat that you're eating has that chemical leaching into the deli meats that you're eating, okay? So be careful. Also toys. Toys fit into the category number 3. So your kids that are newborns or up to 10 years old that are still playing with all the little toys, they're being exposed to this. So if you can, now granted, plastics are everywhere. And I'm not telling you to avoid all plastics at all time because it's impossible. It's not, we live in the world of plastics. And plastics make our life easier. But avoid plastics, especially the harmful numbers, when you can. Okay? Number 4. Now, this is low-density polyethylene, also known as LDPE. And this is the packaging that is bread, newspapers, produce bags, garbage bags, frozen food and frozen food packaging, hot and cold cups. So in other words, when you go and you buy some of those thermal cups or some of the cheaper version of the thinner cups where you're putting your tea or your coffee into, those often fit into the number 4 category. And these leach specifically HDPE into your foods and your drinks. Extremely, extremely harmful to you, okay? Now, number 5, polypropylene, also known as PP, okay? It's the abbreviation that the chemists use. Now, this is going to be found in your yogurt, again, your deli sandwiches, deli cheeses, deli meats, medications, takeout foods. So when you drive somewhere because you guys are going to get takeout today and it's in either a cardboard, styrofoam, or plastic container because all of that has plastics in it, that is typically falls into the category number 5. And that leaches at least 2 harmful chemicals into the foods that you're eating. Last 2 on here, number 6 and number 7. Also, just like number 3, these are the worst possibly cancer-causing and estrogenic-causing chemicals. Number 6, polystyrene, PS, also known as styrofoam. Now, I've lectured for probably 15, 17, 18 years. And I used to lecture on plastics years and years ago. And I don't know if you want to call it one of my favorites or one of my favorites because it's one of my worst things that I don't like in this life, is that how many people are running to Circle K and to Quick Trip and the gas stations and places, and they're buying coffee and they're buying tea and they're buying whatever, and they're grabbing that 99 cents or 79 cent styrofoam cup. That styrofoam plastic cup that you're getting that is supposed to keeping your hot drinks hot and your cold drinks cold is made from polystyrene or styrofoam. And that plastic styrofoam leaches into your system, okay? Especially when it's hot. So if you're pouring hot coffee into that cup, the hotter it is, the more of the styrenes you're leaching into the coffee or the tea. And when you drink that, you are consuming and getting those styrenes into your body. Now, why did I say this is one of my favorite topics to talk about? Because everybody is running to one of these grocery stores or gas stations and buying something in a hot drink in a styrofoam cup or a hot sandwich in a styrofoam packaging. And this is one of my favorite subjects because I got to get you guys to stop. Because styrenes, once it's in your food or your drinks and you're digesting it, styrenes get into your system. As you know, your blood circulates around your system. Your bowels are moving things out of your system. But once styrenes get into your system, what happens is that styrenes get trapped in the fat cells. I'm not talking about fat around your stomach and fat around your arms. I'm talking about fat on the insides of your body that holds your organs in place. And so what happens is when these styrenes get caught on the inside of those fat cells, they don't come out, which means you essentially have them for the rest of your life. So when you look at cancer rates, breast cancer rates, stomach cancer rates, pancreatic cancer rates, there's a direct link, especially to this estrogenic activity. Remember, I told you 95% of estrogenic activity is being found because of this. Next, number 7. Number 7 covers BPA and BPS. Now, you guys have probably heard of BPA. In fact, BPA and BPS is a type of chemical that was in almost every plastic for years. The United States and a lot of westernized countries finally started cracking down on BPA. They still haven't cracked down 100% on BPS, but a lot of the containers and packaging now, you can read right on there, it says BPA free. And a lot of water bottles, which became very, very popular probably 5, 7, 10 years ago, people were trying to stop buying the cheap water bottles, and they were trying to buy a harder plastic water bottle to carry with them so that they had their water with them. And a lot of these containers started advertising kind of a natural remedy, if you will, BPA free. And I believe, it's my personal opinion, that the reason why the United States and they cracked down on it, not so much because of your health, because people were spending their money buying BPA free products. And so when people are spending their money on this, all of a sudden they're going to get rid of those things. And these are the reason why I'm putting these videos out, because I want you guys spending your money on stuff that's good for you. And if you are buying Christmas lights or candles or packaging or baby bottles that have chemicals in them, don't buy them. Buy the stuff that doesn't have chemicals in it. And if everybody does it, they will stop making the other stuff. Okay? Let me just cover a quick couple things about the BPA, BPS. BPAs and BPS, why was it so harmful? And why is it so harmful to you? Because they are endocrine disruptors. Endocrine, which means the endocrine system in your body. We are talking about your pancreas, your hormones, your insulin, your cortisol levels, your hormonal system, okay? And so what it does is it mimics or interrupts your endocrine system. And when it does that, it is altering your hormones being produced naturally every day by your system. And so when that goes on long enough, that's why people are diagnosed with cancer. And that's, besides people spending their money on it, this, as well as a number of these other plastics I just went over with you, the reason why we want to avoid number 7, number 3, and number 6 specifically, but really all plastics as much as we can, is because when you are increasing the plastics and they're mimicking your endocrine and changing and altering your hormone levels, you are putting yourself at direct risk, not indirect, direct risk for cancer and problems. So I ask you guys, you can't avoid all plastics, but do it as much as you can. And the last couple of things I want to say just regarding BPA and BPS is that before you get the cancer and before you have the genetic problems and before you have the certain serious conditions, where you will start to notice mood changes in people, growth and development problems in people, tissue functioning is altered, metabolism is altered, sexual function and reproductive processes is altered. And a lot of these plastics, not just in number 7, but in a lot of these, they not just alter the reproductive and endocrine system, But it's the same reason why many males have a low sperm count. It's why males are exhibiting, I don't know which word you want to use for it, but they're exhibiting traits like females. It's not because males all of a sudden don't want to be males. It's because when we're constantly exposed to this stuff, you are affecting your endocrine and your hormone system, which means you're increasing your estrogen. Estrogen is a female hormone. If women get too much estrogen, they have an increased chance for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and uterine cancer, especially ovarian and breast. And if males get too much estrogen, you are decreasing the sperm count, you are decreasing your testosterone count because of the high estrogen count. So we are talking extremely, extremely bad stuff for you guys. I hope that helped. I wanted to make sure that I went over all the plastics with you. Please, you guys have questions, comments? Leave them below. I hope that helped. Thanks for watching, guys.